7 years. 7 years I've waited to see that dog get his nuts cut off. So Genndy Tartakovsky, he is a pretty big name in animation. Maybe that's putting it lightly. He has managed to gather quite the following. I would say he is one of the few animated auteurs in the modern age. But I think one of the things that makes him so unique is how he manages to dabble in all sorts of genres. He's open to doing stuff both for kids and adults alike. And so far he has just proven to do an excellent job at appealing to both. So back in 2018, it was announced that he was working on this movie. He was writing and directing it, and it was set to be his first feature-length 2D animated film, as well as his first adult film. It also happened to be Sony Animation's first 2D and adult animated feature. This was set to be an adult comedy about a dog named Bull, who learns that he is to be soon neutered. And this was an idea that Genndy actually had in his head for like years, and it's one of those projects that has slowly developed and changed a lot over time. And I think the fact that this movie even exists just shows Sony's like level of faith they have in Genndy. The fact that he can go ahead and make a weird project like this. I mean, true, they did axe his Popeye project, but you know, at least we got two original animated features out of it, this and The Black Knight, a movie that I am very impatiently waiting on. I mean, where the fuck is it? I'll be kind of sad if that one just goes straight to Netflix, but at this rate, that seems highly likely. But the fact that we got to see Fixed at all is just a miracle in itself. I mean, I thought this thing was going to be written off for tax purposes, especially considering that though Sony produced this, it was actually Warner Brothers under their New Line banner that was gonna release this. And I don't know if I could call the final product a pretty sight, but I just wanted to see this thing get made. Like, I wanted to know what an adult comedy from Genndy Tartakovsky was like. Anyway, so it was only about like a month ago that we got our first look at this film, and the reactions from the internet were just super negative. People were hating on this thing, and I didn't really get that because they have been talking about this film for years, and maybe people just don't follow the same news as I do, but this looked exactly like I expected it to. And I know that people in this day and age are weird about sex in movies. That's kind of always been a thing though. I just didn't know how much that applied to cartoons. I don't know if it's just a bunch of people that watch only kids cartoons that are weird about this stuff, but yeah, the negative reaction was just very strange to me. And I get the argument that adult animation should not have to rely on this raunchy bullshit, but sometimes it's okay. I think there's room in adult animation for telling both mature, sophisticated stories and dumb, horny shit like this. But I think it also helps that I have watched quite a few fucked up movies in my lifetime. I tend to like fucked up movies. Most people don't. I mean, that's what makes them fucked up movies. But it's just crazy seeing so many like so-called animation fans just turning on Genndy because he made one horny film. The man is an animation legend. I think at this point he's more than earned the right to just make whatever he wants to make. But yeah, I definitely won't deny that there is some bias there being a Genndy fan, but I was more than ready to defend this movie. And now that I've seen it for myself, I will say it's not great. So I didn't hate it. There are things that I did enjoy about this film. I think the most obvious being the animation itself. I've seen some people calling the animation ugly, and they are wrong. This thing is gorgeous. There's just so many great facial expressions, fantastic character designs. Everything has this like very geometrical look to it in the way I think a lot of cartoons used to look in the 2000s, with a little bit of that modern edge to it. I love the unique designs. There's like that little wiener dog who stands on two legs and is always wearing a different outfit. The movement is just super fluid, and as I said, the facial expressions just made it for me. Like, they're probably the funniest thing in this movie. And I just love to see 2D animation in film, like no matter the subject matter, because rarely do we get to see 2D animation these days on this level. Of course, there was also the bold decision to give every dog in this movie a visible butthole, which I think that's kind of funny. I'm not just talking like the little X that you'll see in animes on cats and stuff. I mean like just a full-on puckering asshole. But I think anyone who has ever had a pet, I mean, surely you see an animal butthole like at least once a day, so why not put it in animation? And I think it just adds an extra edge to this. It kind of amps up that raunchiness. And of course, we do get to see Bull's balls throughout, which I didn't find as gross. Maybe balls just aren't as gross to me as a butthole. But yeah, ass and balls aside, some beautiful animation here. But I also thought that the voice cast just did a terrific job. I mean, everyone was well cast. Everyone was excellent here. I thought that Adam Devine as Bull was a great pick. He just really matched that character's energy. I have kind of noticed this thing where in the 90s, when it came to voice acting, you would usually get like a voice actor who could do multiple unique voices and just have them do like a really bizarre voice for the characters. I think at some point between the 2000s and 2010s, we kind of slowly shifted over to just finding actors that have a unique voice. Like they no longer look for people who can do multiple voices. They just find someone who already has a voice that's kind of funny. And maybe it's because of Hollywood's celebrity voice actor obsession after Shrek, but you know what? It worked well here, so I can't complain about it. The problem with Fixed was not the constant barrage of sex jokes. It was that those jokes just weren't very funny, at least to me. And I'm an immature guy. Like, it should be incredibly easy to make me laugh with lowbrow humor. But there was incredibly few jokes in this movie that I would consider clever. It was as if they thought that just having the animals partake in sex and violence was enough to be funny. Characters will swear a lot, which is whatever. I mean, I do it in my videos, but it felt like Genndy and John Vitti thought that that was enough to make us laugh, and I don't know, it didn't do anything for me. It's just super excessive, and I feel like they were so caught up in the shock value of it all that they forgot to write any, like, jokes around it. Now, a weird film that I've seen this compared to quite often is actually Pink Flamingos. I don't really agree with that comparison. I mean, this is totally different. For one, Pink Flamingos is live action, not animated. Like when Divine ate that dog shit, she really ate that dog shit. But I think what makes that movie so funny isn't really just the fact that characters are doing gross, raunchy things. It's more so in the performances and just the insane dialogue. I've also seen this compared to Fritz the Cat, the original adult animated film. But Fritz the Cat has this like deeper level of social commentary that this movie is lacking in. This is a movie about being true to yourself, which is a good message, but that could have worked just as easily in a children's film. Yeah, I just found there to be little to no substance to most of these jokes. I wish I was laughing more, but not enough. But that's not to say that I didn't laugh at all. There were a few jokes that I did laugh at. I laughed at the cats that talked like gangsters. They'd say shit like, meow, see? But that's also stuff that could have been in a children's film. Like, there's no reason for it to be just an adult movie. There's also a pretty extreme joke towards the end of the movie where Bull takes some pretty drastic action in order to protect his love interest, Honey. And that to me was just pretty hilarious. I think it went just far enough to make me crack up. But even though this movie is like 90% raunch, there is a little bit of heart in there. You know, I found myself sort of rooting for Bull to end up with Honey. And then there's a bit of a romance between one of Bull's friends, who's voiced by Bobby Mooneyhan, and this Doberman bouncer. So I looked it up, and the actor voicing the Doberman is intersex, and I'm pretty sure it's implied that the dog in the movie is intersex too. If dogs can be intersex, it's a cartoon. It don't matter. None of this matters. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of like a cute, like pro-LGBT relationship. I mean, we never get to see gay dogs in any of these kids' movies. Maybe I'm getting sidetracked here, but I think anyone who knows anything about the furry community knows that they're mostly made up of queer people. And I think it's just nice to see some queer representation in a very furry-esque movie, even if it has to be, sadly, through a raunchy film for adults. I mean, I'll take it at this point. This film flows well enough. I mean, its story is nothing groundbreaking, but I think it serves its purpose. It's good enough considering that the comedy is really the main appeal here, or supposed to be. I didn't hate this movie. I have seen much worse movies this year. The Minecraft movie and the Lilo and Stitch remake were worse than this, and somehow those are, I think, like the two highest grossing movies of the year. So yeah, it's funny seeing people who haven't even seen this calling this complete shit when movies like that are out there making a billion. This was fine. I just don't think it justified its hour-and-a-half runtime. Like, this would have worked so much better as a short film. In all honesty, despite my praise of his work, I think Genndy has been pretty miss lately. I was pretty disappointed by Primal Season 2's finale. I thought Unicorn was okay, and this is certainly something. I'm just hoping that his next project is better than this. I think Primal Season 3 is supposed to come out soon, and his Black Knight movie looks hardcore if that ever gets released. But yeah, I'm not really upset with this movie. I think Genndy more than earned the right to make whatever movie he wants, no matter how perverted it is. But I probably would not recommend Fixed unless if you feel obligated to Genndy, or you just think you would like this sort of raunchy comedy. It's on Netflix right now, so make of that what you will. So thank you all for watching. I will see you all again in the next video. Goodbye.